Well, Harvest Moon and I don't exactly get along. Well, I guess it's story of seasons now, but whatever. I've always loved the Rune Factory franchise. It gives you that cozy world with those special characters you get to know and love, and mixes it all together with some exploration and some ass-kickery on the side, while still not bogging you down too much with all the farming and the crafting nonsense. And thanks to Marvelous, I did get an early copy of it for a full review, and I definitely do think that's worth the sub as I try my hardest to level up my sub count this year. If you hope you're liking the sub, I just know that I can get there, so thank you so much. And now let's go ahead and deep dive into the game without further ado. So the last entry that I played in this series was Rune Factory 5. And compared to that, Guardians of Azuma feels like a major glow up. It's as if the series itself went to a hot springs retreat and came back with better hair, a clearer purpose, and actual time management skills. I mean, 5 was charming in that scrappy, lovable but clunky sort of way, but it still needed some work. And Azuma fixes what was broken with a smoother performance, tighter systems, and a far more cohesive aesthetic, treating in its Western, generic fantasy vibes for a rich, vibrant Eastern world that actually feels like it has a soul. Farming isn't a chore, villagers aren't brain-dead cutouts, and combat is no longer just mash the X button until the enemy dies. It's not just prettier, it is smarter, snappier, and way more fun to play. Honestly, it's kind of like what Rune Factory wanted to be, but just couldn't pull off. Whereas all the other entries have had this very Western European flair, the first thing that you're going to notice about the latest game in the series is that it is unabashedly Eastern, taking place in the land of Azuma, which has been devastated by the celestial collapse, which happened about 50 or so years ago, and it starved the land of the power of the runes, the source of all life. Looking around, you will definitely see that this is hands down the prettiest Rune Factory game to date. The graphics are vibrant, soaked in Eastern aesthetics that scream something like Studio Ghibli meets feudal Stardew Valley. Cherry blossoms fall gently, and sunlight filters through the bamboo groves. Everything just feels so dreamy. And speaking of dreams, the game opens up as you are riding a white dragon soaring through the skies and battling a black dragon, culminating in your fall down to a small little tea house in the Spring Village. You believe that this is all a dream, but it is in fact reality. You are the Earth Dancer, and it's your job to revive the lands and put a stop to the celestial collapse, as well as the evil black dragon spreading the blight throughout the lands. And also, while you were dreaming, you seem to have some sort of ability to communicate with the various gods of each of these seasonally themed villages, and they're governed all by one of 4 different gods, so you're going to need to travel to all of them, right their wrongs, romance their inhabitants, help them out, and then restore Azuma to its former glory. You can choose between a male or a female Earth Dancer, English or Japanese voice acting, and 3 different difficulty modes that you can change whenever you want to. Another thing to note is that you can romance whichever characters you want to, regardless if you're a boy or a girl, or you're just, a confused jrpg protagonist who falls through a roof, lands on his head, because here, everyone is fair game. Buy for bonding, pan for planting, love wins. There's also a mini-map as well as destination markers to help you figure out where you're going and what you're supposed to be doing. Not only that, there's a little quest guide on the screen that will just literally tell you what to do if you're completely lost, and there's a larger map that you can look at, showing you all sorts of different points of interest, people to talk to, treasure chests to find, and areas that still need clearing out of the blight. It's definitely the combat and the exploration that pulls me into the Rune Factory games, but you can't have Rune Factory without the farming. But what's so nice here is that you can job that stuff out. You don't have to sit there for forever and a day every single morning planting plants and watering flowers and harvesting the crops all day long. As you go about clearing the blight and killing off monsters, more and more villagers will be attracted to your town, and then they'll begin moving in, and you can assign them jobs. You can make them become farmers. You can make them be miners and lumberjacks and merchants. So they do all that busy work for you, while you just sit back, relax, rake in the cash, romance all the sexy villagers, and explore the Sky Islands. It really is a very neat system, as each villager will cost a certain amount of money to upkeep per day, so you personally need to make sure that they are bringing in their fair share of income, and you'll get a cost analysis sheet at the end of each day. If somebody's over there like pigging out, not pulling his weight, and eating all your food, and not bringing enough money to offset that, well then, kick the lazy bitch out and hope that somebody else, more efficient, moves in. Time also passes each day, and each villager has their own set schedule. You'll find them wandering all over town, just kind of like living out their lives. And it's the same with the monsters. Head out at night, and you might catch them sleeping. But don't stay out too late, or else you'll pass out, lose some experience, and miss out on some time the next day. Just as you receive a cost analysis spreadsheet for your villagers each day, you'll also receive your end-of-day experience, which you can allocate into various skill trees, some for your weapons, some for your personality, and some even for your magical rune skills. Some of that experience is specific to those various skill trees, and some of it, though, is just general experience that you can use on whatever skill tree that you want to. In this way, you can really level your hero however you choose. Not only that, but your hero will also gain stats depending on how well the village is doing. Do you want some more HP? Build up a shrine. What about more strength? Build a workshop. More defense? Make some hoary gates. There's all sorts of different things that you can do here. Not only that, you can fight how you choose with a plethora of different weapons, from bows and arrows to swords to even like a magical drum that summons a frickin' flower storm that heals you while simultaneously nuking the enemy. It's ridiculous, but glorious. And also, you don't fight alone here. You can actually bring in your love interests and the villagers into the dungeon, and they'll fight with you in parties of 4. You can't control them, but each of them do have their own special skills, fighting styles, and abilities, so you can build up your harem of bodacious hotties and dive on in to these dungeons. As I did touch on before, there are 4 different elementally themed villages tied to the seasons, and each has its own vibe, people, and problems. The world map traps your exploration with a percentage meter, so completionists out there, rejoice, or, just stress out, as you strive to get each of them all to 100%. There's also fast travel available on the map, equipment that alters your appearance. Well, it can alter it if you want it to. Personally, I don't like looking at ugly helmets, so you don't have to, you can just turn it off. And in like a Skies of Arcadia twist, you can actually fly on the back of your dragon between all the various sky islands and villages, so yeah, this game's really got it all. I've just gotta say, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma is what happens whenever a farming sim, an action RPG, and a Studio Ghibli art book all kind of get thrown into a blender and seasoned with some JRPG melodrama. It's cozy, it's deep, it's occasionally unhinged, and it's funny, but it's also exactly what I want out of a fun little cozy RPG. Whether you're planting turnips, fighting flower zombies, or just trying to flirt with like some super hot, obviously gay, fashion-obsessed twink, the game's got something for you. And while it might not like revolutionize the whole genre, it sure does revitalize this particular franchise, and I think that you'll really enjoy it. And hey y'all, if you did like this video, here's some more that I really do think that you'll thoroughly enjoy. So please do check them out, leave a like and a comment, helps me out a ton and I love reading what you have to say, and as always, have a good day.